Hi, my name is Brian Docherty. A Scottish health visitor, Phyllis Smart, wrote a report libelling me, which was written because, and soon after, I reported a paedophile to Police Scotland. Smart had never met me, or my wife, nor any of our children, but she inserted a report into her children's notes stating I was in contact with a paedophile and putting my children at risk. This report is not only shameful, but demonstrably false, as the so-called paedophile I was supposed to be in contact with had been dead for many years. Her report was written shortly after I complained about a paedophile to Police Scotland. The following questions I have are to the Chief Executive of Grampian NHS about the NHS worker Phyllis Smart, who wrote this shameful report, which has been responsible for putting our children into the care system. Chief Executive, why did your health visitor Phyllis Smart write a knowingly false report against me and my family without having met anyone in my family? Why did NHS Grampian sanction health visitor Phyllis Smart to write a libellous report about me because I reported paedophilia? NHS Grampian has hit the headlines for all the wrong reasons in recent years. A crisis hit NHS with weak leadership, poor management and consultants who resign due to endemic corruption. How do you think the public will react, Chief Executive, to a health visitor in your employment who has never met any of my family, who knowingly wrote a false report which has resulted in our children being placed in care simply because we reported a paedophile ring? Did you, Chief Executive, sanction this criminal and controversial report written by Phyllis Smart to condemn my family for reporting a paedophile? If not, then which member of your senior management team at the shambolic and disgraced NHS Grampian instructed Phyllis Smart to write this disgraceful report? Why is Miss Smart still employed by Grampian NHS given that she is a risk to child protection and you're aware that she's committed a criminal act by writing a deliberately false report? Why has there been no internal investigation into this serious criminal matter by NHS Grampian and Phyllis Smart? Is it the policy of NHS Grampian to write false reports about a parent who reports a paedophile to police? Is it the policy of NHS Grampian to protect paedophiles? When I wrote to NHS Grampian for a subject access request, they refused to answer. When I requested this information for a second time, this time by recorded letter and by email, in a letter of complaint to you no less, the response by NHS Grampian was to state that Police Scotland requested this report as if that somehow made it okay, and to then deny access to the information again. Do you agree that NHS Grampian's refusal to comply with the law and provide the report written by Smart is very revealing? Is it the policy of NHS Grampian to write false reports at the behest of a corrupt Police Scotland officers to condemn a family for reporting paedophilia? Phyllis Smart is a key advisor to the Scottish Government's controversial named persons policy. Given Miss Smart's obvious criminal actions against my family, does NHS Grampian accept that she is the last person who should be acting as a named person's state parent to children in Scotland? Do you admit, Chief Executive, that Phyllis Smart is a child protection risk? Now, given that Phyllis Smart's report has been used twice to remove my children into the care system, will NHS Grampian, in the interests of child protection, sack Phyllis Smart and conduct now a full inquiry? How did NHS Grampian gain access to our children's medical notes when these were not based in NHS Grampian but in NHS Tayside? Does NHS Grampian admit that it has breached the Data Protection Act by requesting our notes and latterly by submitting a false report into these notes because we reported a paedophile? In light of these criminal actions, is it the policy of NHS Grampian to attack a family to cover up paedophilia and to protect powerful paedophiles? Is it the policy of NHS Grampian to give knowingly false reports to Police Scotland officers simply because they request it to fit up a parent who reports paedophilia and to put his children into the care system to punish parents in an attempt to discredit them? Do you agree, Chief Executive, that Phyllis Smart's report makes a mockery of the Scottish Government's named person policy? Being a health visitor is a position of trust which carries a legal responsibility. Do you admit, Chief Executive, that Phyllis Smart has broken the law and covered up paedophilia by this disgraceful report? Would you agree, Chief Executive, that by your lack of action against Phyllis Smart means that you are complicit in the cover-up of a criminal report which affects child protection and covers up paedophilia?